Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today I am sharing a cooking video with you and I'm going to be showing you 4 healthy, easy bowl recipes that you can make for lunch or dinner or even meal prep. The first recipe is a quinoa taco salad bowl. I'm also going to be sharing a Korean beef stir fry, a Mediterranean bowl, and a steakhouse salad bowl. So let's get started. The first recipe that I'm going to share with you is a quinoa taco salad bowl. I'm going to get started on this by cooking my quinoa. I just like to toast the quinoa in a dry skillet until it starts making a popping sound, and then you can add either water or broth, either chicken or vegetable broth, and a little bit of salt. It takes about 20 minutes to cook. Next, we're going to make the yogurt chipotle sauce for the top of the bowl. You guys, this is seriously delicious and it is a great vegan or vegetarian recipe, and I'm not even vegan or vegetarian and I really loved it a lot. So for the yogurt sauce, I'm using some plain whole milk yogurt, some lime zest, some lime juice, as well as some diced Chipotle chilies in adobo sauce. I'm going to go ahead and stir that up until everything is combined. And next I'm going to add some crushed garlic. So I'm just using a couple cloves of fresh garlic and squeezing that into my Chipotle yogurt sauce. I did have to add also a little bit of salt to this, so just make sure that you taste it and add seasoning to your taste. The great thing about all of these bowl meals is that you can go ahead and prep the ingredients ahead of time and have them sitting in your refrigerator. So if you do want to make them for a quick weeknight dinner, that would be totally great as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make the taco seasoned quinoa. This turned out so good. So in my bowl, I have 1 cup of the quinoa that I cooked, along with some chopped cilantro, some lime juice, olive oil, and then I just seasoned it with a little bit of salt and pepper. This is going to be the substitute for the meat portion of your taco bowl. The next component that I'm prepping is an avocado and some sliced cherry tomatoes. I'm just going to go ahead and use a bowl to hold all of my components in. I am going to be using one of these meal prep containers to store this in so I can take it to work. I'm adding some spring mix. You could add any kind of lettuce that you wanted. Romaine or iceberg would be really great as well. I'm also going to add about 3/4 of a cup of the taco seasoned quinoa, some rinsed and drained black beans, my cherry tomatoes, my avocado. I'm also going to add some shredded cheddar cheese, but if you wanted to keep this vegan, you could leave that out. I'm also adding a couple wedges of lime to squeeze over and a little dressing cup of my Chipotle yogurt sauce. So there is my completed bowl. This was so delicious. I would totally recommend it. Really great if you like Mexican food. Before we get started with the next recipe, I want to take a moment and thank Green Chef for sponsoring today's video. Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company that makes eating well easy and affordable, and it has plans to fit every kind of lifestyle. They have meal plans which include paleo, plant-powered. You can get both vegan and vegetarian meal options, as well as keto plans, balanced living, and family plans. Green Chef lets you choose from a wide array of easy-to-follow lifestyles with select organic ingredients. The recipes are quick and easy with step-by-step instructions, chef tips, and photos to guide you along. The ingredients come pre-measured, perfectly portioned, and mostly prepped. With Green Chef, it's easy to eat well and discover new recipes every week that you'll love to cook. You can also switch up your meal plan whenever you're ready to try a new way of eating. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing this Korean beef stir fry recipe with you. If you guys want to try Green Chef, be sure to check out the link in the description box below. Go to greenchef.us/JenChapin80 and click Get Started to get $80 off plus free shipping. You guys know that I have tried a lot of different meal delivery services before, and so when I got to try out Green Chef, it really did impress me. I love their recipe cards. I love the ingredients in their recipes. I love trying new things that I wouldn't normally think to cook. So again, if you want to try it out for $80 off, check out the description box below. So the recipe that I'm going to be sharing today from Green Chef is a Korean beef stir-fry bowl, and I am preparing this as a meal prep. You could also do it as a regular meal at home if that's what you wanted to do. So the first thing that I'm going to do is start chopping my broccoli up. I went ahead and gave that a rinse in my colander, and I'm just going to chop those florets up into smaller pieces. The great thing about the box that I got from Green Chef is that it is a keto box. I think that's great that they have a keto option for those of you who are trying to do more low carb in the new year. That's great. So if you're keto or low carb, go ahead and check it out. I think that you'll be impressed with the selection that they have. So I'm putting my broccoli into a nonstick skillet that has a little bit of oil in it, and I'm going to saute that with some salt and pepper. I'm then adding the chopped onion and ginger that came in my box, and I'm just going to saute that until the veggies are crisp tender. I'll then remove those to a plate and work on sauteing my beef. I'm going to saute up my beef in my skillet, and I love that this beef already came shaved. It's so much more tender that way, and it's great that you don't have to cut it thin yourself. Once the beef is mostly cooked through, I'm also going to add back my veggies that I cooked along with the sesame ginger amino sauce. The sauce is so delicious. If you guys like beef and broccoli, you would definitely love this dish. I definitely loved it. It was delicious. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that sauce bubble up onto the meat until it thickens a little bit, and that is it for the broccoli beef component of this dish. The next thing that I'm going to do is work on the scrambled eggs that go with it. Like I said, this is a keto dish, so there is no rice or starch. I have some kimchi that came in the box with my Green Chef order. This is a daikon kimchi, so I'm just giving that a rough chop. Next, I'm going to put 2 eggs into a bowl. I'm adding a little bit of half and half salt and pepper and mixing that up with a fork. Next, I'll put that in a nonstick pan with a little bit of oil and just scramble those eggs up until they are mostly cooked through and nice and fluffy. Once the scrambled eggs are cooked through, I went ahead and added my chopped up daikon kimchi back to them and just gave that a stir. And lastly, I'm just going to plate up my bowls. So whenever I meal prep a bowl that needs to be reheated, such as this, I do like to put it in a glass container. I just prefer to reheat things in glass rather than plastic. And I'm going to divide this evenly into my 2 glass bowls. Next, I'll top it with the scrambled egg and kimchi mixture. And lastly, the box also came with some togarashi seasoning, which is kind of like a spiced seed blend. And I'm just sprinkling that on the top of each serving. And here is what they look like. So these will be for meal prep for my husband and I for work this week. I definitely tried some before I dished them out, and it was so delicious. I cannot wait to eat it for lunch. Okay, so next up, I'm prepping a Mediterranean chopped salad bowl. I am using some cooked chicken in this recipe, but if you wanted to keep it vegan or vegetarian, you could totally leave that out, or you could use a different protein like shrimp or salmon or even tofu. So I have 2 chicken breasts here that I'm seasoning with salt and pepper. I have a nonstick skillet with a bit of olive oil in the bottom, and I'm just going to saute these over medium to medium high heat on the first side for about 6 minutes until they get nicely browned. And you can definitely prep this ahead of time. That's one of my favorite things to meal prep is proteins like this, chicken breast or steak or pork, and you can use it in all kinds of applications throughout the week. So once I flip my chicken over, I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of water and put the lid on and let it cook for another 7 minutes. Once it rests, this is what it looks like. Cooking your chicken like this definitely makes it so it doesn't dry out. For this meal prep, I'm using a new bento box that I ordered. This is a bento box. It has several different levels. It's dishwasher, microwave safe, and I think it's really, really cool looking. So any of the cooking utensils or products that I mentioned in this video, I'll make sure to link those in the description box below. And if I forget to link something, just let me know and I will add it. I get a lot of questions about the knives I use and the dishes I use, so I'll definitely try to link those to make it easier for you guys. So this bowl is really customizable. You can add a variety of different ingredients. Like I said, I'm adding chicken. I'm also cutting up some cherry tomatoes, some lemon wedges, some cucumber, and also some feta. Whenever I get feta, I prefer to buy it in the block and cut it myself. I just think it tastes so much better that way. I'm also going to get out some black olives, and the base of my salad is going to be baby kale. So I'm going to use this bento box to kind of portion out my ingredients and separate them so nothing gets soggy. So I'm going to add my baby kale to one side, and then to that little container on the right there, I'm going to add some of the wetter ingredients, so cucumber and tomato. Next, I'll add my chicken. I'm also going to add some chickpeas and then the rest of my ingredients into the bento box. For the dressing for this salad bowl, I'm using this Ken's Simply Balsamic Vinaigrette dressing. If you didn't have any dressing on hand, you could totally whisk up some salt, pepper, lemon juice, and olive oil to make a quick vinaigrette. But this is what the bowl looks like before I box it up and put it together. All my ingredients in here look so pretty. This is the type of salad bowl that makes me excited to eat it at lunchtime and definitely prevents me from eating out at lunch. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lids on my bento boxes, put the lid on and add the strap around there so they don't fall apart, and my lunch is ready to go. I also wanted to mention that I did put some walnut pieces on this recipe and the next recipe. I just forgot to show it on camera. Okay, the last recipe that I'm going to show you is a steakhouse salad bowl with an apple cider vinaigrette. This is so delicious. I have a New York strip steak that I am seasoning really generously with salt and pepper. Make sure that you season it well because it is a thicker cut of meat. You could use basically any type of steak that you have on hand for this. Sirloin, ribeye would be good, even flank steak. Just make sure that you sear it really nicely on the outside and let it rest. Otherwise it will be tough if you overcook it. So I'm just going to place my steak into my nonstick skillet that I have oiled with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to let that cook for about 7 minutes on both sides. Once I flip it over, I'm going to go ahead and tent it with a piece of foil. This was a really thick piece of steak, and so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't totally rare inside, but once it had the chance to rest for about 10 minutes, this is what it looked like. This is a huge portion of steak, so would definitely make 2 salads at least. The apple cider vinaigrette for this recipe calls for reducing 2 cups of apple cider, and so that's what I am doing in this small pan here. And then I'll show you how to make the rest of the vinaigrette. So you just want to boil this on medium heat for about 20 minutes, and it will reduce to about 2/3 of a cup. So I'm going to put that in the refrigerator and let it chill. Once your apple syrup is chilled, you can go ahead and make the rest of the dressing. It calls for 1 tablespoon of shallot finely minced, so I'm going to do that. This is probably the best apple cider vinaigrette I have ever had. I've had it in bottles before, but if you have the time to make this, I definitely think it's worth it. This would also go really well with like a blue cheese type salad. Next to the shallots, I'm adding some white wine vinegar. I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of honey. And then the recipe called for fresh sage, but I didn't want to buy fresh sage just for this, and so I'm using dried sage. I'm also going to add some olive oil and salt and pepper and whisk that up and transfer it to a mason jar. If you want to make the dressing ahead of time, you can totally do that. It will keep for a couple weeks in your refrigerator. Next, to assemble my steakhouse salad bowl, I'm going to go ahead and really thinly slice my steak. You can see that this is a New York strip steak, so it is a little bit marbled with fat, but if you wanted a leaner cut, definitely use a sirloin. The only trade-off with that is that it's not going to be as tender. This recipe also calls for a little bit of shaved fennel, which I thought was unique, and so I'm just going to use my knife to thinly shave off a few pieces of that. I'm just collecting all of my ingredients on a plate to make it easier to assemble my salad bowl. Now I'm showing you guys how to make this for a meal at home, but the same principles would apply. If you're going to make this for a meal prep, just go ahead and stick it into a meal prep container, and you will have a delicious salad during the week or for taking to work or whatever you need it for. You saw me thinly slicing up a pear, which is going to be really good. That sweetness is going to be good with both the fennel and the steak and the vinaigrette, and I'm also shaving some Parmesan cheese to use as well. So I have a wide, shallow bowl here. These are actually from IKEA, so I don't have a link to them. I'm lining the bottom of the bowl with some spring mix. Next, I'm going to arrange my steak on top as well as the rest of the ingredients. Any recipe that I talk about in this video, I will have either linked or typed out in the description box below. There is a cookbook that I did use for several of these recipes, so I'll also link that cookbook so you can find it too. Here is the completed steakhouse salad. This was so good with the thinly sliced steak and Parmesan and pear, and that apple cider vinaigrette just finished it off. Definitely recommend this recipe. Okay, so just to recap, we made our quinoa taco bowl today. We also made a Korean beef stir fry from Green Chef. Don't forget to check out that link in the description box below for $80 off if you'd like to try it. We also made the Mediterranean bowl with the chicken and chickpeas and feta, sort of a Greek-inspired meal prep bowl, and also the steakhouse salad bowl. So thanks you guys so much for watching this meal prep video today on healthy bowl recipes, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.